live on the air. I'm Richard Saile.
This is wild.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Loungetime. I'm your host, Rich Saile. The trade deadline is passed. We are doing the trade deadline topic to start off today's show because there were some major deals that went down Monday and Tuesday before the 4 p.m. trade deadline. We'll also cover some Week 9 games. Not a lot of close games, but I'll mention a couple that I think stood out and some that I liked. And then we'll go over Week 9 picks. That's kind of gonna be the rundown mid-season episode. I'm gonna try to get it here next week. I've got a couple things that next weekend that are gonna get a little crazy. I'm gonna try to see if I can get back here around this time next week to try to do a mid-season episode where we kind of give mid-season awards, kind of like last year. But I want to wait for everybody to play basically about 8-9 games before we do it. I'll mention a couple people that we might mention next week as part of that midseason special. So, let's talk about the trade deadline. Now, a little twist compared to normally what we've done. We've always done the recap with Rich, of the week before. And this week I figured, since trade deadline was big, we're going to talk about that first. So, first big deal that we had was Monday afternoon when Leonard Williams gets traded from the Giants to the Seahawks for a second-round pick of this upcoming draft and a 2025 fifth-round pick. And I think this is a great move for Seattle because Seattle needs somebody up front to help stop the run but also affect the pass rush. Right, I like some of the guys they've been picking up as free agents. I think they added Frank Clark recently, somebody who Pete Carroll knows from their system, and from before he got traded to Kansas City. Leonard Williams comes in; he's a very good disruptor up the middle. Great job defending the run. Bobby Wagner's the quarterback of that defense, an experienced middle linebacker. They still have Jamal Adams, a very good young secondary. I really like this move for Seattle. I really do. I think that this is a good all-in move. They have a great offense that's getting better and better. The only question is the offensive line and Geno Smith. That's the biggest question. Other than that, they are really, really stacked from a roster standpoint. I really like this move. It really helps something that I was waiting to see Seattle do, which was improve the run defense. They got somebody up the middle to help that now. And I know they were in on Josh Uche from my team. We'll get to them in a little bit. I promise it won't be a rant. I just have some thoughts I kind of want to get off as far as my team goes. But I would have liked to see Uche and Clark with Leonard Williams up in the middle in Seattle. I thought that would have been a really interesting thing, but the Seahawks didn't end up getting Josh Uche. He stayed with the Patriots. But I really like the Leonard Williams move from Seattle. Now, I also like it from the Giants' standpoint because they got a second-round pick, and I think the Giants need that because they're clearly in a rebuild mode, okay? There might be a good second-round quarterback maybe that they like. If they end up high in the draft, they can maybe use that to move up in the late first round, maybe grab another player they like. So it's a little nice leverage move for the draft. I think the Giants got a pretty good return out of that. I know that I thought they were going to be much better on defense. I think they have in some ways with Kayvon being tied for third in sacks. And Isaiah Simmons is not a bad middle to coverage run stopping outside linebacker. Right? They still kept Dexter Lawrence. But I think they need a little bit more. They got to improve that secondary a little bit. Maybe some help, the opposite of Thibodeau and Dexter Lawrence to help with that. And, Leonard Williams is 29. He's coming up on his 30s, But I feel like they want to go younger. I like this move for the Giants. They can, use that to upgrade their offensive line. Maybe get a late first round quarterback that they might like that they can use to move up with that early second round pick. So I like that from the Giants standpoint with a second round pick. Actually, it won't be early. It'll probably be a mid to late second round pick because Seattle looks like they'll be a playoff team, I think. Let's go to a lot of the Tuesday action. Montez Sweat, Washington Commanders defensive end, goes to the Chicago Bears for a second round pick that's going to Washington for this upcoming draft as well. This one, the only way I can make sense of this is if Washington knew, A, they weren't going to re-sign him, which I think was going to happen. B, Chicago really wanted him, and they felt like other teams were going to outbid for the guy they wanted. So they got desperate and traded a second-round pick. That's the only logical explanation I could see why they traded Montez Sweat. They need pass rush too. They really do, the Bears. Okay? But a second-round pick, that comes off as very desperate for this type of need. Okay? I know they want to give him a long-term contract. I get that. But there was a high chance you probably could have got him for free in free agency. But I think they got desperate because I think they were afraid other teams were going to jump at, trying to sign him to a bigger contract that they wouldn't be able to get the opportunity to do. So they figured trade a second-round pick to go get, pass rush for the defense. They need defense, don't get me wrong. This one, though, I don't like it from the Bears side. I felt like they definitely were a little desperate. I know they had a lot of draft capital from the Bryce Young trade and everything. I get all that. But I don't know. I didn't like it. I mean, it's definitely something they need, but I think they gave up a little too much. I think it comes off very, very, needy and frantic to where they had to make this move. And I don't think they had to, but, I wouldn't have given up a second-round pick for him. I would not have. I would have tried to make an offer, and if he just goes to another team, that's that. But, again, that's the only way I think that logically makes sense as to why the Bears did this move. Now, for Washington's end, I like this because they got a bunch of draft capital now going into this offseason. There's rumors that Josh Harris is trying to trade for Bill Belichick after this offseason. I don't know if he's going to want to go to Washington and finish his career. I don't see that happening. I think it's very unlikely, but I like Washington's situation. They're going to have over $90 million in cap space this offseason coming up. They're going to have a nice draft capital room. I think this is a great return for Washington to get a second-round pick. And I think we're going to talk about another deal they made in just a moment. But Washington's got a nice offseason to look forward to because Sam Howell's had good moments. They've got receivers. I think they need to build that offensive line, which is perfect for the draft capital and the cap space, and they can build the defense. So I think this is a good win for the Commanders. I don't like it from the Bears as far as that move goes. Let's go to another one. Josh Dobbs, who was the Cardinals quarterback until they benched him for a third-string quarterback, goes to Minnesota. And Kirk Cousins tore his Achilles days before, and he's out for the season. Now, you can't really get any better than Nick Mullins and Jaron Hall. So, the Vikings needed to make this move. Now, is Josh Dobbs this, oh my God, he's a really good backup? No, but he's better than who they have now. I mean, they needed to go get a quarterback. Dobbs has been a starter in this league. Arizona had absolutely nothing to work with. Now he's got Jefferson coming back soon, Jordan Addison, KJ Osborne. I really like this for Minnesota because Minnesota's on a high. They want to stay in that 7-seed race. I think Dobbs is going to have to do enough to pick up the playbook quickly. And I don't think Minnesota will end up getting the 7th spot. That's just me. But this is their best move to try to make a 7-seed move. I just don't see, it helps a little. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think it helps a lot. But again, they had to make this move. So I don't blame the Vikings that part. Cardinals, they got a late day 3 pick. I mean, they're just building draft capital. I mean, they're in a rebuild situation. They weren't sold on him. Clearly, when they benched him, they were clearly trying to get rid of him. Does not surprise me at all. Kyler's coming back too. They figured why not get something, and I guess, they didn't care. They just wanted anything. So, but Minnesota, they had to make this move because Kirk Cousins is out for the season. And it sucks because, there was actually talk Kirk Cousins on the pace was going to be the first 6,000-yard passer. I don't think that's going to happen anymore. But it sucks. But Josh Dobbs is definitely better than Jaron Hall and Nick Mullins. That's a definite. So, Vikings, I understand the move completely. I do. Let's go to another move Washington made. Chase Young to the 49ers for a 2024 third-round pick. Wow. The rich get richer, man. I mean, first, I heard New England was in on him, and I'm like, all right, the only reason we'd be in on him is if we're trading Josh Uche to Washington, and then maybe a draft pick we pay a little bit more to get him. But when I heard the 49ers gave up a third-round pick, I'm like, damn, that's actually a good offer they made. That again, Washington now adds more to their draft capital. I love it on their part. He never could stay healthy outside of the year he won Defensive Rookie of the Year. I think he has tremendous upside if he can stay healthy. I heard some things where it was like disciplinary issues with Washington. I was like, what? I was like, how was it disciplinary if he barely played? He was more hurt than disciplinary. Like, I don't know. But that was something I found very odd. That Chase Young had disciplinary issues over there? Makes no sense. But as far as the 49ers go, John Lynch loves those pass rushers up front. He had Warren Sapp and Simeon Rice going back to his Tampa Bay Buccaneer playing days. And it starts up front. He's believed that since he's become the general manager with the 49ers. And I really like this because now they have Chase Young, Nick Bosa, on the edge with Armstead and Javon Hargrave in the middle. Oh my God. This front four, they're going to be up there with the Eagles getting pressure. They're really going to be. Now, it all depends if they can stay healthy because their depth is also really good with Drake Jackson, and I forgot the other name that they had. He's also really good. That's how deep the 49ers are up front, man. I mean, they're right there with the Eagles right now as far as a deep front seven. They know this was a move they needed to compete with the Philadelphia Eagles. And I really like this move. I really do. And I think that this is going to be one of those moves where I want to see if Chase Young can be that second overall pick in the draft a lot of people saw. And I think under Steve Wilkes and company, I think so. Especially with Nick Bosa getting a lot of the double teams. I think he can regain that form if he can stay healthy. And I believe that he will. I think he's in a better situation than what Washington was. But I also like Washington getting a third-round pick out of this because Washington builds their draft capital once again for the 2024 offseason to add to their cap space. I think it's great for them. Couple sleeper trades I'll mention real quick. I like Donovan Peoples-Jones to the Lions. I think that the Lions have very good receivers. I mean, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Jamison Williams, Josh Reynolds is good. Donovan Peoples-Jones was a very good receiver for Cleveland, opposite of Amari Cooper. I was shocked Cleveland got rid of him. I really was. And I think this is actually more of a win for the Lions because now Jared Goff gets another receiver that has big play potential. And I really like that move for the Lions. I don't like it for the Browns because why would you trade away one of your top receivers when Deshaun Watson's been a shell of himself? I don't like it for the Browns, but I do like it for the Lions. Rasul Douglas to the Bills makes sense because Kyer Elam has not been healthy or the player they think he's been so far. Tre'Davious White, again, torn Achilles, out for the season. That sucks for him. They had to make that move for a third-round pick. Green Bay's rebuilding, okay? So I don't mind that move at all. And I think the Jaguars getting Ezra Cleveland up front, I like that because that helps protect Trevor Lawrence, and they need that. And I think Jacksonville got a nice trade out of that from the Vikings. So I like some of these sleeper trades that Jacksonville was able to make. The Bills got Rasul Douglas, and the Lions getting Donovan Peoples-Jones. I really do like that. So that's kind of the big recaps on the trades. We mentioned a couple last episode, well before the trade deadline happened. But overall, I thought there'd be a little more chaos at the trade deadline, but clearly it wasn't. Which brings me to who were the biggest winners, who were the biggest losers. My opinion, Seattle's a big winner. Washington's a big winner. The 49ers are a big winner. And those would be my 4 teams. Because I think Washington's draft capital, cap space, love that for next offseason. Seattle built something they needed. They're proving they're going all in. Like that move. I like the move for the 49ers. They needed, Chase Young, a player with high upside if he could stay healthy, a compliment to Nick Bosa. Why not go stack your chips all in? You have basically everything to go make a run. Why not? Okay? Love that move. And again, the Vikings I like, but I wouldn't say they're a big winner out of this. And then I like the move for the Bills getting Rasul Douglas because they need secondary. They got a pretty good corner out of that. So, as far as losers go, the Bears are up there. We mentioned that. I don't like it for the Browns getting rid of Peoples-Jones. And I'm going to say a team that did make a move. Now, you're probably like, Rich, why you got to say your team? Let me explain why, guys. This is another reason, yet again, I have said Bill Belichick's allergic to trading for offense. He's allergic to building offense. Now, you guys are probably like, well, why do you have to bash him, everything he does? Hold on a minute now. This is what happens when you're the GM and the head coach. You have greater responsibility that's put on you, okay? You're 2-6. You just lost your best receiver for the season, okay? You had another receiver you lost due to concussion, okay, who you did trade the year before, that's injury-prone, had good moments last year, but he's always hurt, okay? You had Jerry Jeudy. You had Hunter Renfrow on the book right there. They were staring right in those glass little boxes that are usually there for with the stands where they usually put jewels and jewelry. They were right there. Picture those two guys in that thing, okay? And you know what he does? He doesn't make a move. Instead, he'll listen to Chase Young offers, which again, I wouldn't have minded Chase Young if you trade Josh Uche and maybe a pick. I wouldn't have minded that, actually. Because Josh Uche was wanted by the Seahawks, I heard Philly, and I heard New Orleans. Okay? I wouldn't have minded that. But you had 2 receivers there on the board. Now, if they wanted a lot, understandable. Hunter Renfrow, they wanted a day 3 pick. You're telling me Hunter Renfrow's not better than Kayshon Boutte, who I like, but he's not clearly ready to be that dude. Tyquan Thornton has not panned out. Okay, Juju, please, he's TikTok days. He caught his first touchdown last week. No, that doesn't help his case. Okay, you're telling me Hunter Renfrow isn't a good slot receiver for what you could get that Juju can't provide. That's what you're telling me, Bill. Jerry Jeudy's a younger receiver that you need. Now, I think Denver wanted a little too much. I don't blame him more for that move. Hunter Renfrow, you could have got for a day 3 pick. What the hell are you saving those for? Come on, man. I mean, and then the fact that you had young assets, Josh Uche, Kyle Duggar, Michael Wenyu, Kendrick Bourne would have been a guy that people wanted, but he got hurt, right? The fact you had all these young assets. Now, again, I'm not a fan of trading Duggar. I like Kyle Duggar a lot. I think he's made good plays for the Patriots. I do. I like Michael Wenyu as a good tackle guard combo. He could play in case there's injuries there. I don't mind those moves. I would have got rid of Zeke for a day 3 pick. Get him out. I would have gotten that. I would have got him out. But I would have traded Josh Uche for a good pick. Now, a lot of stuff I was reading, they wanted a day 3 pick. I think that would have been a low ball, so I don't blame them that move. But I just wonder, like, the fact you don't still trade for offense, you're 2-6, now you risk losing all those young assets that people want at the trade deadline, and you're basically risk losing them to free agency where you just let them walk with no assets you got in return. Again, what do you really think? And I know we're supposed to have a lot of cap space. We need that more for bigger issues. But your young defense, it's really Gonzalez, Barmore, and Judon. Why don't you make a move to go get your offense together when there's 2 receivers on the board there? Judy and Renfro. Come on, man. Like, this reinforces my point. He refuses to build offense. And I hate that. I don't like bashing him, but he gives me more and more and more reasons, once again, to show he makes my case for me. He doesn't like building offense. Now, I heard the whole Pat McAfee interview with Michael Lombardi, and I know he's a well-respected guy because he worked under Belichick and Bill Walsh and Al Davis. I get what his point was. But this team, clearly, you weren't going anywhere to begin with. You might as well gain some assets that you could use for the offseason, like Washington did. And instead, you stick on to one, which I don't get, because you're not going to the playoffs anyway. You're not going anywhere. The fuck you got to lose? I just don't get it. I don't get it from Bill's standpoint. I don't get it. I really don't. But to me, they're the biggest loser, because if you're going to show any bit, you're going to compete, show that this organization is heading somewhat upward, and prove all the narratives the media is saying about New England's the worst place to play quarterback, and they don't believe in wide receivers. This was the trade deadline to make that move, when there were 2 options there that you could have got. You didn't even make one of those moves. They're the biggest losers to me. A team that didn't make a move that I thought should have. Or, if they didn't, we're going to make a move for those receivers, you gain assets as a result. Washington did that. Don't like it. I don't like it. I don't. But I'm in favor of keeping Duggar and Onwenu. Okay, I'm probably missing one more guy. I did catch Bourne because he got hurt. But there's probably one other guy I can't think of. I don't like it. I don't like it for New England that they didn't make a move. I really don't. Not just because they're my favorite team, but that's just, looking at it from a bigger picture standpoint. All right, so we're going to get into some Week 8 action. I might skip a few of these games that I kind of wrote down in my notes because I wanted to talk a lot about the trade deadline this week. One game that came to mind was Kansas City-Denver. And yes, Chief Bandwagons, I'm starting with you today because I am ready to go off on you guys once again. Well. You guys lose a game that nobody thought you were going to lose. And you had Chris Jones back, and Travis Kelce's there, and you have the best quarterback in football, and you're playing the worst defense in football, and you own the Broncos, and you go to Mile High. Except it was snowing pregame, yet you still lose. But it's not the surprise that you lost that is the shocker. It's the way you guys looked. And I said week 2. I said week 1. Something's not right with this offense. They scored 17 against Jacksonville, which we'll get to Jacksonville in a little bit. But let me say this. Chief Bandwagons, it's time to start sweating again. Oh, Rich, you said the same shit last year. We won the Super Bowl anyway. Oh yeah, okay. This ain't going to be the year. Oh, no. Yeah, but we got the top scoring defense in the league. Okay, well, your offense can't move the ball really much, and you're supposed to have the best quarterback in football, right? And the best tight end in football, right? Well, why'd you score 9 points against Denver? Denver gave up 70 to Miami. You got to be kidding me. Chicago scored 20 out of them. You scored 9? 2 weeks before, you scored only 22. 25, whatever it was. You scored 9? Oh no. There's deeper problems going on there. After Jaywan Taylor with the whole jumping early, he's never been the same. Oh no. Donovan Smith is a shell of himself. I saw it in Tampa last year. Oh man. You bandwagons better be sweating because you're in deep shit. Frank Clark's with Seattle again. Okay. I mean, yeah, they got a lot of sacks, and I know they got 6 sacks against Denver. Okay. Gave up 24. Not bad. But your offense ain't scoring. That's a problem. And you're supposed to have the best defense under Mahomes. That's not good. Oh no. 10 quarterback hits, yeah. But you had a bunch of missed opportunities. Fumble, INT, fumble, turnover on downs, INT. Get this. Patrick Mahomes had 24 of 38, 240 yards, 2 interceptions. Why isn't Mahomes getting bashed, media? Please answer that question. Oh, because you have to protect your little future in the league, face of the league. Oh, because he can't do no wrong. Oh, no. I don't want to hear that one. Tom Brady had to throw to a bunch of guys the year after they beat the Rams, and all we kept talking about was where's his next team going to be? Yeah, I don't want to hear that. Oh, no, I didn't want to hear that when that happened. And I don't want that same excuse for him. He's supposed to be that guy that's supposed to lift them up. We know he can, so what's the problem? Don't start blaming the receivers. Don't do that. Because you won with the same average casual lineup of receivers last year. You got McCall Hardman back. No excuse. Absolutely no fucking excuse. I'm not sitting there for none of it. You play Miami next week. I have to root for your sorry asses because guess what? Miami's in my division. Actually, you know what? I don't even care who wins that game because I know my team sucks. So Miami wins, so what? We're not winning the division anyway. If you guys win, guess what? Miami loses, so what? So what? I don't even care if you beat Miami or not. I don't care. Don't care. I know my team's out. So, like I said, you guys are in trouble. You play Miami next week. Good luck, because Tyreek's got a huge target on his back because of what you guys try to do to him. I know you got a Super Bowl win out of it. So what? 3 of 10 on third down. Oh, that's not good. 0 of 3 in the red zone. 0 for 3. Jacksonville did a similar thing. I guess fans Joseph watched what Jacksonville did to him, and they were like, Jacksonville might have did something. 5 turnovers for the Chiefs. 5. Now, we never had a Patrick Mahomes team have 5 turnovers. Wow. So, I'm sorry, but I am not sitting here with this Mahomes bandwagon bias and the Chiefs bandwagon bias. No, I'm not sitting for it. They played horrible. And now I can't believe that the media said, oh, Taylor Swift not being at the game had something to do with it. Maybe Taylor Swift's the good luck charm. Oh, please. That's the last thing. I told you guys 2 weeks ago, when they showed Brittany Mahomes and they showed Taylor Swift, I was like, oh, God, the 2 most toxic people in the world are getting together. It's over. That's the last thing we needed to see. It was the best thing that neither of them showed up, and that was great. That was great. Good. That's the last thing I want to see when I watch a fucking football game. Please. Enough's enough with this whole freaking Taylor Swift shit. Enough. Thank God she didn't show up. Don't even go there with the whole good luck charm thing. My fucking ass. That's the last thing I care. Which brings me to this. This is comical. Russell Wilson was 12 of 19, 114 yards, 3 touchdowns. He barely threw over 100 yards and you fucking lost to Russell Wilson. Barely threw for over 100 yards and you lost to Russell Wilson. Wow, that is laughable. They're treating him like Zach Wilson if he's barely throwing over 100 yards. Javonte Williams had freaking 85 yards on the ground. Jerry Jeudy had 2 catches, 50 yards and a touchdown. Sutton had a touchdown. Denver's defense actually played its best game of the season. 9 points allowed, 3 sacks, 11 quarterback hits on Mahomes, 2 interceptions. Offensive line still bad. Turnover on downs. Fumble, block field goal on down. 6 of 14 on third down, not bad. 6 penalties. Denver has won, 2 in a row now? I'm not going to get too hyped on them. I still don't think they're a good team. But, like I said, Chief bandwagons, you're in trouble. Because now you're not going to be playing cupcakes no more. You might play cupcakes with the Raiders, which we'll get into in a little bit, because I got a little something to explain to somebody who had the Raiders making the playoffs this year. And yeah, he's going to hear it from me again, because I got so much energy, and no, I didn't drink any tea or coffee recently. No. I need to come with a show with a little bit more energy, because a lot of you people, I think from the outside are saying, why don't you show that much energy? Oh no, I'm bringing it today. Chief bandwagons lost today. Okay, NFL trade deadline. I'm bringing it right now, because I have a lot to say, and I feel good about what I'm gonna say right now. Okay, so Chief bandwagons, you're in trouble. Good luck not playing cupcakes, because you're in deep shit right now, and I can't wait to see what happens, because now the AFC's getting tougher. Okay, Cincinnati's coming along. I'm going to get to them in a moment. Jacksonville is no joke. They're for real. The media needs to pay attention to them. Buffalo's all right, but when they're at their A game, they're going to give you problems. Okay, the Ravens, please. Lamar beat them once. Okay, so what? All right, Pittsburgh's got a defense, but I'm a little concerned with the offense right now. Okay, but, Miami, we're going to see how they do with Kansas City this time around. I am not at all worried about the rest of the AFC. I know the Chiefs are going to struggle with one of those teams, because we got a whole half to play. Somebody could get red hot and they go, I don't know if I want to verse them, and it might get and Kansas City might have to verse them, and I don't think this is the same team that they were the last 5 years. Okay, they are regressing, and I'm saying it right now. Andy Reid's got to start taking over the play calling duties, or they're going to be out in at least second round, I think. Bengals 49ers. One note before I talk about this game. I am very sorry that I did not pick the winner of this game on the actual episode live last weekend. I'm very sorry. I thought for some reason I had it in my notes. I forgot to pick the winner. I posted it on X with the episode link. I kind of picked the Niners to win by 1. Although I was debating if I should go Cincinnati, gut feeling ended up being right. Cincinnati, ended up winning. But I wanted to first apologize to those that were like, where was that game? I'm sorry. It was a mishap on my end. This week I made sure I am not missing a game to pick, and I got every game this week to pick. So I'm making sure we don't make the same mistake twice. So my apologies to Bengals and 49ers fans that are watching this show. So, real sorry. Did not mean to forget that game. Thought I had it, but I looked back and I was like, I didn't have that game picked. I'll put it out on X. That was my fault. Let's get to the game. Joe Burrow, 28-32, 283 yards, 3 touchdowns. Joe Mixon, 16 carries, 87 yards. The go-ahead touchdown to seal the win. Jamar Chase, 10 catches, 100 yards and a touchdown. Tyler Boyd had a touchdown. Higgins, 5 for 69. I said when the Bengals were 1-3, if there's any team in the league that can come back from 1-3, it's this team. And look where they're at now. Beat a good Seattle team at home, okay? They beat a good 49ers team on the road in San Francisco, and they got to play Buffalo now. So they're playing their tough teams now, and they're responding. And that defense, again, this is the closest thing to me to my good New England defenses back in the early 2000s. They don't have that one key guy, but they play good team defense, and they did it once again against San Francisco. When are we going to give Lou Anarumo a head coaching job? When? Because I think he absolutely deserves one. Okay? 49ers were on a crazy win streak. They've lost 2 going into this game, but Shanahan's offense, known as a tough offensive scheme to defend it against, and they got 2 turnovers on Purdy. They got 2 sacks on him, okay? Held him to 17. We need to get Lou Anarumo a head coaching job. He deserves one in one of the most candidates possible. He deserves a head coaching job because he's done a great job with this defense the last 3 years. He really has. This team is, again, proving to be one of the best teams in the AFC. I think they're going to win the division over the Baltimore Ravens because I trust Joe Burrow than Lamar Jackson. I think Joe Burrow can throw the ball better. I trust him to make clutch decisions more than Lamar Jackson. And I think that offensive line, listen, I know people have issues about it, but if they play together well, and I know they can play well in crucial moments, I know I can trust Joe Burrow to go win a game on the road over Lamar Jackson. Because Lamar Jackson only got 1 playoff win. Joe Burrow, guess how many road playoff wins he's got? You ready? He's got 3. 3. He's got 3 road playoff wins. Lamar's got 1. Okay? And Burrow's beaten Josh Allen. He's beaten Mahomes. And he beat the Titans as a 1 seed. Almost won a Super Bowl, too. So, I trust Joe Burrow and company to win that division. And I think that Jacksonville, there's some good teams in the AFC coming up, man, that need to start getting talked about. These are small market teams, yes, but they are really good teams that are building in the right way. And I think that these 2 teams, Cincinnati and Jacksonville, I'm very high on in the second half of the season. I think they're going to be really, really good come playoff time. I'll be talking a lot about those 2 teams. I can't wait to be talking about them. Which brings me to the Niners. Brock Purdy, 22-31, 365, touchdown, 2 picks. McCaffrey both had a rushing and receiving touchdown. This is the downstretch that I think they kind of knew, because like now teams had an offseason to study him, and now he's looked bad against Cleveland, a really good defense. Cincinnati's getting better at defense, and Minnesota had its best game against them last Monday night. And I'm not going to say I'm concerned, but everybody goes through these rough stretches. Everybody. It's how you're able to overcome and learn through those adverse moments. I think this team needs this right now. They need to be reminded that we're stacked on paper, but teams on paper don't win games. It's production on the field. This team is going to be fine. Deebo Samuel's banged up. I think he'll be fine. The bye week, I think, couldn't have come at a better time for them because they need to get ready. They need to refocus. They're not playing good football right now. Take the extra week, 2 weeks to get ready for your next opponent and get yourselves back on track, because this team, their defense is not playing great right now, but I trust that they can get that fixed. And I think Brock Purdy's just got to manage the game better. I think he's forcing a couple throws where he's going back to the gunslinging or Iowa State quarterback. But he's got to let the game come to him and run it the way that Shanahan has it in place for him to do it. Okay? And I trust Kyle Shanahan to fix that during the bye week. I'm not worried about the 49ers right now. I know somebody that also picked Seattle to win the division that's telling me, see, look, Rich, Seahawks are ahead of the Niners. It's 8 weeks. Pump the brakes. When there's 2 weeks left, then I'll be like, all right, I might be worried. I'm not worried right now, bro. I'm not. All right? Small victory. I'll let you have it now. That's not going to be the case come November, December. Trust me. That's not going to happen. All right? I trust the Niners to get this stuff fixed. Kittle had 9 for 149. Ayuk 5 for 109. Like I said, the defense, I think they're going to be fine. This was another bad day for them. They got to play better too. But I think this team will get, the bye week couldn't have come at a better time for them. They need to go back to playing really better football, and I trust that they will. So that's for the Bengals and 49ers. All right, now I did have on my notes, I had Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, I had Eagles, Washington, I had the Browns, Seahawks, but I want to talk about a recent head coaching firing, the first of the season. The Raiders fired Josh McDaniels on Halloween night at like 12 a.m., 1 a.m. in the morning. I was asleep, and I wake up, and I'm seeing my group chat text me that Josh McDaniels got fired. And I'm like, kind of saw this coming. And I knew as soon as I saw reports, players are losing trust with him in the locker room, McDaniels on the verge of losing the locker room, I said it's over. It's over. Because once you lose the locker room, game over. You got no shot. You got no shot to earn the players' trust back unless you significantly start winning ball games and get a quick turn. This team didn't have that turnaround. When you lost to Tyson Bagent, a guy with the same name as Tyson Chicken Company, you were in deep shit. But it goes back to when he first did it last year, blowing a 20-0 lead to Arizona. Lost to Jeff Saturday. Lost to Baker Mayfield 2 days before he freaking suited up Okay? The list goes on and on. The bottom line is, Josh McDaniels is a coordinator over a head coach. He's more of an offensive coordinator than a head coach. I was sat right here, and I had my uncle right here, and I told him straight to his face, Josh McDaniels is more of a coordinator than a head coach. Right there. And he's like, I'm going to let it ride. How you feeling right now? Because I told you they had no secondary. The Lions ate them up. Right? The Bears freaking torched them. What a freaking rookie backup. Okay? I told you they may have a front seven. They got no back end. They may have all the receivers. I said Jimmy Garoppolo's a downgrade over Derek Carr. You got Jimmy Garoppolo. How did he play? He's got 9 picks. Leads the league. What do you guys say about that now? I don't think you got nothing much. Because you know I told you this. I told you. This is why I said, I went over there and I was like, you got to be kidding me. Because I'm like, there's no way you believe this. And I said, I'm going to wait for my opportunity. Because he did it to me last year with the Rams. He called me on the weekend. He said, I told you I was right about the Rams. Well, guess what I'm doing on my show? And I'm bringing the energy, and I'm saying I was right here. I was right here about the Raiders. I said it since day one. Okay? Day one, I knew this team was not as good. And I try to say, I know what they are. They're an undisciplined football team that just can never get the needs they need to focus on, and instead they go for star power and stack it up at the other positions, and it never works. It's never worked. And everybody's blaming Mark Davis a little bit, which, again, he's not Al Davis, but Mark Davis's ownership so far, that's not good either. Okay? And Mark Davis, his ownership, they need to get the right people who know football in there. Okay? Jim Harbaugh might be available. I wouldn't mind that move if I'm the Raiders. Did we forget what Jim Harbaugh did with San Francisco? I didn't. First year he got there, NFC Championship. Second year, Super Bowl. Third year, NFC Championship. There's a name for you. He's done with Michigan, especially with all the cheating scandal going on there. We don't need to talk about that. But if I'm the Raiders, go get Jim Harbaugh this offseason. He's proven he can win at the NFL level. Okay? Get the right people who know football on there. Not the flashy hires, okay? But Mark Davis needs to step up as an owner too. All right? Which brings me to one more thing about Josh McDaniels before we move on and go to Week 9 picks. Okay? Did you guys know, I don't know if anybody saw this tweet, but I saw this. The 3 worst offenses in the NFL are the Raiders, the Giants, and the Patriots. Not in that exact order, but they're the 3 worst offenses in the league. Guess what all 3 of those teams have in common? A coach from the Bill Belichick tree. And the fact that we got people saying, oh, well, Josh McDaniels might end up back in New England. Duh, he fucking coached under Bill. Yes, of course. But you guys remember my point of me saying the game's passed by Bill Belichick? His coaching tree ain't that much better either. The only time they look really good is when they beat Bill Belichick himself, because Belichick can't beat his assistants. He's 0-3 against Josh McDaniels. 0-3. Okay? Josh McDaniels had a freaking shit offense this year. Daboll, to be fair, it's not all him. I think it's Daniel Jones. I think it's the line. I don't think it's all Daboll. Okay? And then Belichick, I've already spoken my shit about him. He refuses to build offense. But notice, all 3 have a coach in the Bill Belichick tree, and how that tree just is terrible. And look at the rest of the league. They're evolving on offense. Those Belichick coaching tree members, including Belichick himself, they don't. Reinforces my point that the game's passed by him. And you people claim I don't know shit. No, I do. I just wait for my right opportunity to say this shit right now. I told you guys I'm bringing the energy today. I'm bringing the energy today. Well, guess what? It's on, okay? So when I see something, I'm going to tell you guys when I see it. And I can back shit up too with the shit I'm saying. For people who don't think I can't back up shit. No, I can. But I welcome you right here if you want to debate me about it. It's all open. Told you, this is Loungetime. We kick back. We have casual conversation. But I'm not afraid to point out details that I see and let you know right here. I'm not afraid to do that. So, all right, we're going to talk a little bit about Titans Steelers real fast. Will Levis, 22 of 39, 262 yards, and interception. I thought he played really well again. I know he played well against Atlanta. I thought he played really well against Pittsburgh, aside from the one throw. But I think in the end, the Steelers did what I thought they were going to do. They were going to get pressure on Will Levis and get him to make that one turnover in a game. He did that. But overall, I thought Will Levis played really well for the Titans. And I think that they might have found their guy for hopefully the next 10 years, because the kid has been pretty good in his first two starts. He's been pretty good. They just got to surround him with a good offensive line, receivers, maybe some upgrade in the defense. Tennessee has their guy. And that's a good feeling for the Titans fans that Will Levis, he's pretty good. Henry had a rushing touchdown. Hopkins, 4 catches, 60 yards. Don't remind me. I don't remind me right now. Offensive line, 4 sacks allowed. That's not good. Defense gave up 20. Again, their offense really just couldn't move the ball against a good Pittsburgh defense much. They didn't get sacks. They didn't get takeaways to defense. They had the late turnover on downs and then the pick right after. 3 of 13 on third down, 1 of 4 in the red zone, 7 penalties. That's not going to cut it, man. The little things they didn't do well on the road, and Vrabel and company, I think, I thought they were another team was going to get rid of Henry and Hopkins, but they held on to both of them, and they're just in a rebuild situation where they got to really work on some things, and I think they got the positions right for a couple of guys on their team, but they need a little more for them to be back in serious contention. But the Titans are kind of expected to be who I thought they were. The Steelers, Kenny Pickett, 14 of 30, 160 yards and a touchdown. He was all right. I mean, he overthrew Pickens on a wide open, drag route that would have been 35, 40 yards after the catch. But instead, I got 1.2 fantasy points, George Pickens. The hell, man. Najee, 16 carries, 69 yards and a touchdown. Warren, 11 for 88, or 11 for 68. He's, they're going to probably split carries in the next half of the season. Deontay, 7 catches, 90 yards. Can you believe he had his first touchdown in 2 years? That's crazy. Defense, 16 points, 4 sacks, INT, but 10 penalties, Mike Tomlin. That's got to get cleaned up, man, during your mini-bye week. This needs to get cleaned up because the Steelers, offensively, we know they got issues. But the penalties, you can't have that come November, December. You cannot have that happen if you plan to be a playoff team. And I think this team is a playoff team. I really do. Okay? They need to get that shit cleaned up. All right, let's go over some of the Week 9 NFL games. Let's start off with the 9:30 game in Germany, Chiefs and Dolphins. I don't care who wins this game. You know why? Because I know my Patriots suck, and I just think that I got an issue with both teams. But one of these things is going to prove me right. Either Tua cannot beat a great team, or the Chiefs' offense is that bad, or, they just, could beat up on the RA teams. Okay? So, I think the Chiefs win over the Miami Dolphins. I trust them more than I do Miami. I don't think Miami can beat a good team. I don't think Tua Tagovailoa can play well against really good teams. That's his track record. Give me the Chiefs, 31, Miami 27. Washington, New England. No, I'm not picking my team to win. I'm done. I'm not watching another game this season. I stood by it week 7. I didn't watch the Buffalo game. I didn't watch the Miami game. I'm not watching this game. There's nothing for me to say, yeah, I'm going to watch it anymore. Nope. So, and I'm taking Washington because I got balls on this. So, I'm going against my own team again, and I'm not ashamed of it. Give me Washington 24, New England 20. Seahawks, Ravens. I will be watching this game because I actually have some interest in this game. Give me Seattle on the road. I got balls. I'm going to take it. Give me Seattle to go into Baltimore and win. The fact that Lamar Jackson has had one NFC team beat him in his entire career so far is crazy. But I think Pete Carroll's going to have some game plan to kind of neutralize this Ravens offense. I don't think that the Ravens are as good as people think they are. I don't. I think defensively they're good, but they've played some cupcakes too, bro. Seattle's no cupcake, all right? But I think Seattle is going to go into Baltimore, and they're going to go beat the Ravens. Give me Seattle 26, Baltimore 23 in a very good, close ball game. Cleveland, Arizona. All right, spoiler alert. I did not pick my survivor yet this week. I'm picking it tomorrow. But I'm down to the Browns or the Saints. Deshaun Watson is expected to play this week. I'm a little scared because I feel like he's going to be so bad. But I think the Browns win. But I think they barely cover. Give me the Browns 23, Cardinals 13. Texans, Bucks. This is an under. All right, I think both teams are going to have a defensive game. I think it's going to come down to which offense you trust more. I trust the Texans over the Bucks, man. I think Baker Mayfield is not that good. I think he's average, and I think he's going to give you 1 or 2 interceptions where you go, give me that. Give me the Texans 16, the Bucks 9. Saints, Bears. The other team I was thinking about for Survivor. Browns or Saints for Survivor for me this week. I have not decided yet. I will have to post that Sunday morning who I took. But I'm going with the Saints. I trust this Derek Carr and company. I have Derek Carr in fantasy, so I'm going to go with the Saints. I think they get pressure on the Bears, and I think that the Bears suck. So give me the Saints 30, Chicago Bears 12. Falcons, Vikings. If Josh Dobbs was starting, I may change his pick. But Taylor Heineke starting over Desmond Ridder. Desmond Ridder got benched. I like Atlanta to win with Heineke. I think Heineke's not a bad quarterback. Give me Atlanta 20, the Vikings 13. I like that for that game. Rams, Packers. If Matt Stafford's not playing, I reserve every right to change his pick. All right, I will post on X if Matt Stafford's not playing. But I'm going to go with the Rams 27, the Packers 10. I don't think Jordan Love is good. I think he's terrible. I think the Rams are better than people think, than what their record says. I think Sean McVay and company are going to get some points against the Packers defense, especially now without Rasul Douglas. Give me the Rams 27, Packers 10. Panthers, Colts. Do I have the balls to take Carolina again to win another game? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm taking Carolina to win another game. I'm going with another upset. Give me the Panthers 19, the Colts 16. I like Bryce Young and company. I think that they're going to win again, back-to-back games. Colts, they can score, but I think Bryce Young and company in Carolina, I like them to win. Panthers 19, Colts 16. Giants, Vegas Raiders. You know what's funny? A former Giant is now taking over as the Raiders interim coach. Antonio Pierce. Okay? I remember him on the Giants. Good linebacker. Okay? Aiden O'Connell starting over Jimmy G. They benched him because he's that bad. Daniel Jones is back for the Giants. There's absolutely no excuse for the Giants to not win this game. If the Giants lose this game, they are a fucking national embarrassment if you lose to the Raiders. They are. They're a national embarrassment if they lose to the Raiders. Give me the Giants 21, the Raiders 13. You have no excuse to not win, to not lose this game. 0. Okay? Cowboys, Eagles. Sneaky game as far as scoring. This might be a high-scoring game. Last time these two teams met, it was like 40-37. That was a Gardner Minshew and Dak Prescott. Now it's Prescott against Jalen Hurts. A lot of people like Dallas to upset. I almost took Philly. But there's some signs where I'm going, I could see why America's picking Dallas to win. I really can. And I'm going to have the balls to do it. I'm going to take the points with Dallas against Philly. I don't like the way the Eagles' defense has looked. I know they're getting Kevin Byard integrated in that lineup. I think he's a nice upgrade at safety. But something tells me this Eagles defense, something is off with them. I don't know what it is. I think Eagles will score. I think Dallas will score. But I think Dak Prescott's going to go into Philly and beat the Eagles. I got Cowboys 34, Eagles 31. All right? Bengals, Bills. I think the Bengals are hot right now as far as they're rolling. And I said, if there's anybody that's 1-3, they can overcome it. Give me the Bengals at home. I think they beat the Bills in what should have been a win for them last year. But I think the Bengals are going to win 30-23 over the Bills. I trust that Lou Anarumo is going to have a good game plan for Josh Allen. But I think the Bengals are going to move the ball against Buffalo. No problem. Give me the Bengals 30, the Bills 23. Jets, Chargers on Monday night. This is an under. This smells under. I don't like how the Chargers are favored by 3.5. I don't like it. I think Zach Wilson is not good. Don't get me wrong. This line smells a little bit, all right? I can't believe I'm doing this. And I have this one kid who I can't stand as a Jets fan. He's starting to get on my nerves. It's getting annoying. I want them to lose, but I just don't see it this week. I'm going to go with the Jets 17, the Chargers 10. I just don't think Justin Herbert's going to do well against the Jets defense. I think Brandon Saile is going to just botch like he always does, go for stupid fourth downs, and the Jets are going to cash in because Brandon Saile just can't manage the game well. All right, so those are my Week 9 picks. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you guys hit that notification bell. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button so that way you guys can get all the latest updates on when we go live for Loungetime episodes during the season. We also have an X account. Please follow at Loungetime Pod on X. We want to build a new community so we can get people to talk about the games, talk about some NFL thoughts. Who knows? I might even talk about it on the show. All right? Guys, thank you so much for watching Loungetime. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys next week on the next episode of Loungetime. Have a great weekend, everybody.